Welcome to How to Win Financial Freedom in 36 months or less, starting with just $5,000. In this first section, we're going to talk about getting the right strategy working for you. My name is Peter Schultz, and I'm going to be your guide through this fascinating and liberating journey. You're going to learn in just a few short minutes what took me years of trial and error to discover. And even with all the time and money I spent, it was still totally worth it. You see, after trying tons of different ways to trade that didn't work, I finally figured out a way to make consistent profits in good markets and bad, week after week. But here's what really makes this strategy so good and why you should be excited. The key is you don't have to be perfect and make money this way because the strategy is so forgiving. You see, with most all trading strategies, you have to pinpoint your entries and exits. You need to watch the markets constantly for every little uptick and downtick. You have to be ready to get out at a moment's notice, and even then, you can still lose a lot more money than you'd like. But this is different. You don't have to be perfect. In fact, after putting on the trade the way I'll show you, you don't even have to watch it that closely. And I proved it by cash flowing the markets this way for over 20 years and showing others how to do it as well. I've still got trades going every single day with my own money, and why not? Who doesn't like the idea of setting yourself up to get fat paychecks every week, especially if you don't have to do much once you put the trade on? And on top of that, I'll show you how to create an overwhelming chance of winning on every trade you place. Now, just to be clear, it's still possible to lose trading this way. But as you'll see, the odds are so stacked in your favor, the math says you'll win most of the time. And that's all you need to build your account to financially independent levels. All you have to do is follow the few rules I'm going to lay down for you in this 7-part series, and you'll see how to be effective at collecting money every single week of the year. That's 4 paydays per month, just like clockwork, and believe me, it adds up fast. There are 3 big advantages to trading this special method that no other trading strategy provides. Number 1, it's safer than any other type of trading. All other things being equal, you'll win. And that's true even if you've been a little unlucky on everything else you've tried. You see, you don't have to be so good because the strategy is good. And number 2, the turn time on your money is faster than any other type of trading that's this safe. Paydays can literally come in every week. Compounding your money that fast yields incredible results. It's really our secret sauce that can create financial independence in a matter of months instead of years. And finally, number 3, and this is a huge advantage, especially if you know anything about trading. Listen to this. You never have to worry about when to exit or trade, which is the toughest part of trading for most people. Think about it. If your position goes up, do you sell or do you wait for more profits? And if it goes down, do you get out now before it's too late, or do you hold on waiting for a comeback? This is the one thing most people agonize over the most with their trading. Well, this is the only system I've ever seen where you never have to worry about that. You just set things up like I'm going to show you right at the beginning, and then just forget about it. And remarkably, 8 times out of 10, you win. The whole thing could take place while you're taking a nap, or working, or traveling across the world, because you can literally do this from anywhere you can get an internet connection. The idea of being able to travel the world and still make money from anywhere you land is pretty inspiring. And I can show you how to do it with this strategy. Okay, that's the promise, but now it's time to deliver. The key to this strategy is that it harnesses the power of options trading. But it's important for you to know that it's at the safest end of options. And even if you've never traded options and don't know anything about them, don't worry. Neither did most of the other people I've helped before they started cash flowing the markets. You'll not only get it, you'll get good at it, and probably far faster than you imagined. It's amazing how quickly we can learn something when the rewards are so great and we have some success right off the bat. And just to make sure that happens, I'll be with you every step of the way, making sure you get it right. So without any further delay, let's jump to Module 2, getting the characteristics of options working for you. Welcome to Module 2. Okay, now it's time to get down to the brass tacks and find out how to get really good at cash flowing the markets. The first thing you need to do to find out how to win at any game is learn the rules. And that's what we're going to do right now. The game we'll be playing is options trading, so you need to know a few things about options. Now, I'm not going to bore you with every little detail, but there are some important things you need to know. Like, what the heck are they? An option is a contract that allows you to either buy or sell a stock or an index for a given price and for a set amount of time. If you want the right to buy a stock at a certain price and for a certain period of time, you would buy a call option. And if you want the right to sell a stock for a certain price and for a certain period of time, you would buy a put option. So why would you ever want to buy either one? Simple. Leverage. Let's say you only have $1,000 to trade and you want to make some money. Since you happen to be in the widget business, you know that Old Amalgamated Widgets just introduced the best widget on the market, and their wholesalers say they can't keep them in stock. So you're figuring Old Amalgamated is going to have a blowout quarter and their stock is going to shoot to the moon. So you look up the stock ticker symbol and see that the stock is going for $53 per share. So you take a look at your $1,000 and figure you can buy 18 shares of stock. You pull up a chart on bigcharts.com and it looks like Amalgamated could jump to maybe $5 higher on a good earnings release. So if you buy 18 shares and guess what? The thing you thought was going to happen actually happens and you make $5 for every share you bought. In other words, 18 times 5 or $90. Well, not bad, but a dinner and a movie with your sweetie and that profit's gone. Now let's take a look at what would happen if you bought a 4-week call option at the $55 strike price. What that means is you have 4 weeks to buy the stock for $55. Now the stock is only going for $53 right now, so the stock is actually below your strike price. The strike price, by the way, is what you can buy the stock at. Since the stock is below your strike price, your strike is said to be out of the money. Since it's out of the money, it's cheap. In this case, only $1 per share. Let's think about that for a minute. You could buy the stock for $53 per share, or you could buy the call option for $1. If you buy the option, you get to control 1,000 shares instead of 18. A little bit of a difference, right? Now let's see what happens if you're right. Well, sure enough, Old Amalgamated announces earnings a week after you buy your call option, and the stock shoots up to $58, $5 just like you figured. But your option is now worth $3.50. You see, you can buy the stock if you want for $55, and the stock is now worth $58. So that's a $3 difference right there. That's called intrinsic value. The difference between your strike price, $55, and the stock price at $58. But there's another part of the options price that's important, and that's called time value. So with 3 weeks left, the options makers are putting a value of 50 cents on the time left until expiration. So you have $3 in intrinsic value and 50 cents in time value for a total of $3.50. And now your option is said to be in the money because the stock price is higher than the strike price. So that's all fascinating, but how much money did we make? Well, you took your $1,000 and bought options for $1 each, so you control 1,000 shares. By the way, options come in 100-share contracts, so you bought 10 contracts with your $1,000, or the right to buy 1,000 shares. You bought your call options for $1, and now they're worth $3.50, or $3,500. Subtract out your initial investment of $1,000, and you just made $2,500 in profit. That's $2,500 versus the $90 you made just buying the stock outright. Are you beginning to see why people trade options? $2,500 in profit is a little more than dinner and a movie, even if you live in a ritzy neighborhood. So let's go over a couple of the key things we just learned. You buy a call option when you think a stock is going to go up, but here's what's cool. You can buy a put option when you think the stock is going to go down. When you buy a put, you buy the right to sell the stock for a given price and for a certain period of time. So let's say a stock is $75 per share and you think it's going to go down, way down. You can buy a $70 strike put option that means you can sell the stock for $70 anytime for, say, the next 3 months. Then guess what? The stock really does go down. In fact, it drops all the way down to $55 over the next 4 weeks. You now have the right to sell the stock for $70 and it's going for $55. That option is worth at least $15, the difference between the strike price and the stock price. And maybe it has some time value too. In other words, you just made a small fortune on a stock going down. Pretty cool, huh? Kind of takes the fear out of a bear market. In fact, here's something interesting to consider. There's an old saying on Wall Street that stocks take the stairs higher, but take the elevator going down. In other words, when fear grips the market, stocks fall much faster than they rise. So here's what's cool. you now have a way to make money with falling stocks, and far faster than on the way up. That alone gives you some great bear market insurance. That's super cool, but let's get back to our review. You can buy calls when you think a stock is going to go higher, and you buy puts when you think a stock is going to go lower. Options come in 100-share contracts, and the minimum amount of options you can buy or sell is 1 contract or 100 shares. We also learned about strike prices. That's the price you agree to buy or sell at. On a call, if the stock is below your strike price, the option is said to be out of the money. If the strike price and the stock price are exactly the same, the option is said to be at the money. And if the stock price is above the strike price on your call option, it's said to be in the money. With a put option, it's just the reverse. If the strike price is above the stock price, then the option is said to be in the money. Okay, the other thing we talked about is how options are priced. If the option is in the money, then part of the option's price will be intrinsic value, the difference between the stock price and the strike price, and part of the price will be time value, the value of the time between the present, right now, and the expiration date. However, if the strike price is out of the money, then the entire value of the option is time value. A good example is when Old Amalgamated was priced at $53 per share and our strike price was $55, the entire value of our $1 option was time value because the stock price was below the strike price. This concept of time value versus intrinsic value is an important one because we're going to use it to gain a massive edge. So go back if you need to review, because you're going to want to wrap your head around this idea. Okay, there's one more thing. That expiration date we were always talking about, well, what is that? Well, options used to have only one expiration date per month. It was the third Friday of the month, and it happened every month just like clockwork. But then an interesting thing happened back in 2012. Certain popular stocks like Apple, Google, Boeing, and others, and the most popular indices like the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 started having weekly options expirations. This is really an awesome development because we're going to use these expirations to create weekly paychecks. And it's a lot cooler to get paid 4 times per month than just once per month. Plus, we can now pick any amount of time we want for the life of our option. It used to be you either got the front month, which is the current month, or the next month out, or whatever. Now with weekly options, you can buy or sell the exact amount of time we want, and as you'll see, this is a really important advantage. Okay, so one more time really quick. Number 1, you buy calls when you think a stock is going to go up, and you buy puts when you think a stock is going to go down. Number 2, options give you incredible leverage. So if you're right, you can make a fortune. And if you're wrong, all you can lose is what you invested, just like with stocks. Number 3, an options price is made up of 2 parts. Intrinsic value, the difference between the stock price and the strike price, and time value, the amount of time until expiration. And number 4, options come in 100-share contracts. So the minimum amount of options you can buy or sell is 100 shares. 2 contracts is 200 shares, 3 contracts is 300 shares, and so on. Number 5, on many stocks now you can buy or sell weekly options expirations, which expire on Friday of the week. This gives us a lot of flexibility on the amount of time we can buy or sell. Okay, that's it. If you're new to options, watch this segment a few times and you'll get it. It's not that complicated, it's just new. Once you get these few basics figured out, you'll be on your way to making money with options. Speaking of making money, in our next video, we're going to talk about one of the few things you can depend on with options no matter what. We're going to take that one thing, the one thing that kills most options traders, and turn it around to our biggest advantage.